It's been a little over 6 months since the launch of From Software's spin-off title Elden Ring Nightreign, a co-op multiplayer roguelite that sees you and up to 2 others exploring a shrunk-down version of the lands between, fighting bosses, collecting weapons and upgrades, and leveling up to take down a giant final boss in a climactic fight. The reception to the game has been fairly warm, but it's surrounded by excellent competition. It's also recently received its first piece of DLC in the form of the Forsaken Hollows, bringing back lapsed players and creating new excitement amongst the community. So today on Game Rant, let's look at how Elden Ring Nightreign has fared over these last few months. First, let's go over what Elden Ring Nightreign is. Elden Ring Nightreign is an open-world roguelite utilizing the combat from Elden Ring and repurposing a lot of weapons and bosses. This culminates in an experience that feels fun yet familiar, a unique spin on a couple of things that gamers love. Nightreign boasts a roster of playable Nightfarers, all with distinct modes of play, from Wilder, the swordsman with a grappling hook, to Raider, a sledgehammer-wielding heavy knight with the ability to create walls of stone. Each of them feels incredibly unique, giving the game replayability through build customization. All of this takes place though on the map Limvale, a familiar zone in the world of Elden Ring, being crafted out of similar spaces as Limgrave. The world remains mostly stagnant from run to run, with the main parity coming in the placement of enemies and bosses. The biggest change between runs though is the shifting earth events, which all bring unique areas to explore that take up large swaths of the map. There's a crater full of fire, a mountaintop covered in ice, a rotting wood, and a magic city, each boasting its own final boss that conceals excellent rewards. All in all, it's a fun experience, especially if you have a couple buddies to take it on with. Elden Ring Nightreign is a good multiplayer roguelite that at times feels a little derivative of its namesake and a bit repetitive. It takes pieces of greatness from Elden Ring, from its multitude of weapons to its excellent combat, and puts other pieces from popular games in the roguelite genre, with fun meta progression and build customization. This has led to an open critic score of an 80, not a terrible score, but also not what we've come to expect from Software. Some reviewers, like IGN's Mitchell Saltzman, thought the title needed more, giving it a 7 out of 10 and saying, when Elden Ring Nightreign is played exactly as it was designed to be played, it's one of the finest examples of a 3-player co-op game around. But that's harder to do than it should be, and playing solo is poorly balanced. While other reviewers like our own Matt Karaglu loved the title, giving it a 9 out of 10 and saying, a near perfect merging of From Software game design and roguelite structure, Elden Ring Nightreign is a bold experiment and one of 2025's highlights. Fans of the game seem to regard it well, with the Steam review score sitting at a nice positive, with 86% of fans enjoying the title. Also, prior to the launch of the DLC, it was still peaking at around 35,000 concurrent players, which is an impressive feat for a multiplayer game that came out 6 months ago, especially a roguelite that hasn't been consistently updated. This number is higher than the genre's norm and points to a fan base that remains excited about the title. This has carried over to it being nominated for Best Multiplayer Game of the Year, alongside competition like Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Peak, and Split Fiction. Although with that lineup against it, it's hard to imagine it wins. That all brings us to the updates though. A few days ago, on December 4th, Nightreign got a massive DLC added to the game. The expansion is called the Forsaken Hollows. This DLC brings with it new boss enemies known as Abominations, 2 new Nightfarers to play as, these being the Scholar and the Undertaker, and a new shifting earth that brings a whole new area to explore, this being the Great Hollow. I think the part of this that I'm enjoying the most is the new Nightfarers, as new ways of playing the game is an exciting prospect. The new area though looks cool, as well as functioning as almost an entirely new map rather than a standard shifting earth, and the Abominations bring a whole new level of challenge that I didn't know I wanted. All that said, the DLC costs $15, which is a little disappointing to some, but players have to remember that there aren't microtransactions in the game, so if we want continued updates, this most likely seems like the best path forward. Mostly, the DLC has been received well, with some excitingly hopping back into the game. This has caused the game to reach high peaks of concurrent player counts, hitting 133,355 players on December 4th. Other than that though, there have also been a lot of quality of life updates implemented throughout Elden Ring Nightreign's 6-month span. Most of these have been added to improve solo and duo runs. This all works to fix the problems listed by Mitchell Saltzman before, making the game more accessible for people who don't have a ton of friends to come play with. All in all, with a steady player base, plenty of players, myself included, are excitingly hopping back into the DLC. Elden Ring Nightreign isn't From Software's most innovative and exciting game ever, but it's a fun roguelite that has held up throughout the last 6 months. Its player base still stands strong, and this DLC has brought back a ton of lapsed players into the fold. So have you played Elden Ring Nightreign? And if so, are you playing the new DLC? Let us know down in the comments below, and for everything else go to GameRant.com to catch up on news, read fun articles, and get guides for games like Elden Ring Nightreign. That's all, and thanks for watching.